Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Manju Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I was just happened to see your message come, and I said I should join it.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're doing. Mataji, are you in India?
Yes, Mataji.
So it is night for you, isn't it?
Yeah, early morning, 3:45.
Whoa! Look at your dedication.
Let's start, Mataji, because the live stream has started.
Yeah. Sure.
Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya
Jaya Dvaita
Nityananda.
Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta
Jaya
Vrinda.
Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki Jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai.
Jai.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to this week's Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat reading. We're reading from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat Antya Khanda. So Antya Khanda of Chaitanya Bhagavat begins with Mahaprabhu's acceptance of sannyas. So we have seen after accepting sannyas, Mahaprabhu desired to go to Vrindavan, and he went to a certain extent and then he turned around and came back. And he visited Advaitacharya in Shantipur, and then on Sachi Mata's request, he agreed to make his headquarters Jagannath Puri. So he returned to Jagannath Puri. Then Mahaprabhu went to South India, and after visiting South India, he came back to Puri, and the second time again he attempted to go to Vrindavan. And this time he went as far as Ramkeli, met with Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik, who were Rup and Sanatan Goswamis. And then again he went up to Kanai Natashala, and then he turned around. He decided that I want to go back to Jagannath Puri. So on the way back, we saw how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped again at Advaitacharya's home. So many pastimes happened there. Mahaprabhu stayed there for several days. Sachimata came and she cooked for Mahaprabhu. So there are pastimes of Mahaprabhu's honoring prasadam, his spending time with the devotees. And then also Advaitacharya's observance of Madhavendra Puri's disappearance day. That was a big festival. So that was the chapter that we read last time, where Mahaprabhu glorifies Advaitacharya as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now we will read the next chapter. This chapter is chapter 5, of the Antya Khanda of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. And this chapter is entitled, Nityananda Charita Varnana, description of Lord Nityananda's pastimes. Just trying to get the thing in the center. Okay. Little bit more. Yeah. So, description of Lord Nityananda's pastimes. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya, the master of all. Glory, glory to the Lord, who is a Kalpavriksha, to King of Vaikuntha, who is now the jewel of sannyasis. O Lord, please place your glance of mercy on the conditioned souls. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya and his devotees. Glory, glory to merciful Lord Chaitanya, who is an ocean of mercy. O my brothers, with one heart, please hear the Antya Khanda's narrations of how Lord Chaitanya enjoyed pastimes. After staying for some days in Lord Advaita's home, Lord Chaitanya went to Srivas Pandit's home in Kumarahatta. Okay, so Mahaprabhu continued his travels. So Mahaprabhu stopped at Advaitacharya's home, spent several days, and from there Mahaprabhu went to Srivas Pandit's home. Where? In Kumarahatta, not in Navadvip. So Srivas Pandit has a home in Kumarahatta also. So Lord Chaitanya went to Srivas Pandit's home in Kumarahatta. Srivas was then wrapped in the ecstasy of meditation of Lord. So when Mahaprabhu arrived, Srivas was wrapped in meditation, and he was in ecstasy in that meditation. Suddenly, the object of his meditation stood before him. Seeing the master of his life, Srivas fell to the ground and offered Dandavat obeisances. So, it's a wonderful, we discussed it earlier also. So, back then they didn't have these, phones or emails or anything. Even letters, when they were sent, somebody would walk all the way to hand the letter to, the person that you're writing to. So you can imagine how you would probably reach there before the letter goes, if you went by a horse or something. So even the letters were not so. So you didn't know. And what to speak of if somebody took sannyas? When Mahaprabhu took sannyas, sannyas was like social suicide. It's like he's gone. The person who takes sannyas, he's as good as dead for the society. You don't get to see him or talk to him or anything. And now the devotees of Navadvip, after getting the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how can anyone forget Mahaprabhu? And they're all personal associates of the Lord. Mahaprabhu spent every night, he would perform pastimes in Srivas Thakur's home. So now Srivas Thakur was wrapped in meditation on Mahaprabhu. And then all of a sudden he opens his eyes and he sees Mahaprabhu in front of him. What kind of a surprise, pleasant surprise would that be? And then he saw Mahaprabhu and immediately he offered Dandavat obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Where was this? In Kumarhatta, Srivas Pandit's home. Srivas was then wrapped in the ecstasy of meditation of Lord. Suddenly the object of his meditation stood before him. Seeing the master of his life, Srivas fell to the ground and offered Dandavat obeisances. Holding the Lord's graceful feet to his chest, Srivas loudly sighed and wept. Then Lord Chaitanya embraced Srivas and showered him with tears of love and joy. By Lord Chaitanya's mercy, Srivas's family and friends were all saintly. Seeing Lord Chaitanya, they raised their arms and wept. Now that the king of Vaikuntha had come to his home, how much bliss had suddenly taken birth within Srivas. Even Srivas himself did not know. Carrying the nicest seat on his own head, he placed it before Lord Chaitanya, and the lotus-eyed Lord sat upon it. The Lord's companions sat around him in the four directions. Moment after moment, everyone sang the names of Lord Krishna. So first of all, Srivas Thakur offered Dandavat obeisances, and it was such a wonderful, ecstatic surprise, totally unexpected. He was weeping in ecstasy, and he just took the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu and held the lotus feet to his chest, and he was weeping. And then Mahaprabhu picked up Srivas and embraced him. Srivas Thakur's family, because he is such a great Vaishnava, all his family members were devotees. Not just his family members, it is said that even the servants in Srivas Thakur's home, whatever animals were there in Srivas Thakur's home, everyone was blessed, because Mahaprabhu would perform pastimes in Srivas Thakur's home, and Srivas Thakur always opened his door for service to the Supreme Lord and his devotees for Sankirtan. So everyone was blessed. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur says elsewhere that even the servants, maid servants, and the animals in Srivas Thakur's home were all fortunate. So when Mahaprabhu came, because they were all Vaishnavas, they all received the mercy of the Lord, they were all in ecstasy. And then immediately Srivas Thakur brought a seat for Mahaprabhu to sit on. How did he bring it? He put the seat on his head and carried it, and then put it down and asked Mahaprabhu to sit down. So Mahaprabhu sat down on the seat, and everyone, all the family members of Srivas who were Vaishnavas, sat around and they all started singing glories of Lord Krishna. This is what devotees do. When they come together, what do? They talk about Madchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayantaha Parasparam. Bodhayantaha Parasparam. Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. Their only pleasure is to talk about Krishna, enlighten each other about Krishna, give pleasure to each other by talking about Krishna. This is the happiness of devotees. So, whenever devotees come together, pure devotees, what do? They just talk about Krishna to each other. They glorify Krishna and they derive great pleasure in that. Tushyanticha, Ramanticha. They derive great satisfaction and they literally enjoy that, right? They relish it like anything. So everyone sat around Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and they started singing the glories of Lord Krishna. The saintly women devoted to their husbands sang Jai Jai. Srivas's home was filled with bliss. Hearing the news that Lord Chaitanya had come to Srivas Pandit's home, Acharya Purandar arrived. Seeing him, Lord Chaitanya called out, Father! Wild with love, the Lord embraced him. Seeing Lord Chaitanya, saintly Acharya Purandar wept without restraint. Accompanied by Shivananda Sen and many others, Vasudev Datta also came at that moment. Vasudev Datta was very dear to Lord Chaitanya. By the Lord's mercy, Vasudev Datta knew everything. Vasudev Datta wanted to do good to the entire world. He was merciful to every living being. He was wild with love for Lord Chaitanya. He only saw the good in others. He never saw their faults. His heart was appropriately filled with love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and for the Vaishnavas. Seeing Vasudev Datta, Lord Chaitanya embraced him and wept again and again. What happened? Mahaprabhu is in Kumarhatta. So, who are all the devotees that reside in Kumarhatta? You have Acharya Purandar, you have Vasudev Datta, you have Shivananda Sen. So soon the news spread that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to Kumarhatta. He is in Srivas Pandit's home. So one by one, the devotees hurried there to come and take darshan of Mahaprabhu. So first Acharya Purandar arrived, and Mahaprabhu, as soon as he saw Acharya Purandar, what did he say? Father, Father. Why? I'm not sure. I know that Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he is Vrishabhanu Maharaj. So the father of Srimati Radharani. So therefore, Mahaprabhu, who is now in the mood of Srimati Radharani, he would call Pundarik Vidyanidhi father. But here it is said when Acharya Purandar appeared, and as soon as he saw Mahaprabhu, embraced. So this is the relationship between the Supreme Lord and the devotees. The Lord is also very eager to serve and to please to see the devotees. Of course, the devotees are very eager to see the Lord, but the Lord is equally eager to see the devotees, to please the devotees, to serve the devotees. This is the loving reciprocation between the Supreme Lord and his pure devotees. So when Mahaprabhu saw Acharya Purandar, he immediately ran, Father, Father, and he embraced him and he started weeping in ecstasy. Oh, I mean, just imagine the love that they had. How many times do we meet somebody and then we are moved to tears simply to see them? You must have so much love to actually, this is not mundane love, this is transcendental love. So when Mahaprabhu saw Acharya Purandar, he was weeping, just like Srivas Thakur was weeping. And then Mahaprabhu embraced. Without restraint, he was weeping. And same, Acharya Purandar also was weeping. Yeah. Accompanied by Shivananda Sen and many others, Vasudev Datta also came at that time. So the other devotees. So now we are going to read about Vasudev Datta. Vasudev Datta is a great devotee of Mahaprabhu. Vasudev Datta is actually an incarnation of Prahlad Maharaj. So we'll read further. So when Vasudev, what is the character of Vasudev Datta? He was very dear to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and by the Lord's mercy, he knew everything. This is another thing about knowing everything, right? In this world, we also try to know so many things. We go to schools and colleges to study, we do various courses, we want to know things, isn't it? But that type of knowledge, whatever we are trying to gain, is using our material intelligence. We try to gain knowledge. But spiritual knowledge about the Supreme Lord cannot be gained with material intelligence. That knowledge is actually given to us. It's given to us. Transcendental knowledge descends through the parampara. It descends. And what is the qualification for one to receive this knowledge? Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasad. First of all, you have to please the Supreme Lord. When you please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when He is pleased with you, then He can give you that knowledge. Then the next question is, how do you please the Supreme Lord? When you please the spiritual master, coming in the bona fide disciplic succession, if the spiritual master is pleased, then Krishna is pleased. Then how do you please the spiritual master? You have to carry out his instruction. How do you get the determination to carry out the instruction of the spiritual master? The determination you get by rendering devotional service, which is the first instruction of the spiritual master, is certainly for us. Srila Prabhupada said, rise early in the morning and chant 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So the point is, by devotional service, by dint of devotional service, surrendering to the Supreme Lord, in the mood of a servant, when we engage in the service of the spiritual master, the parampara, Guru parampara, becoming obedient to them, surrendering ourselves, carrying out devotional service, by this, the Supreme Lord becomes pleased, and when the Supreme Lord is pleased, then all knowledge will be revealed. Srila Prabhupada says further, this is actually in a purport from the second canto, first chapter, text 10. Srila Prabhupada gives this in the purport, that in the material world, to gain material knowledge, it is required that you have to do research and you have to have intellect, right, to understand the topics in this world. But for the spiritual, in order to get spiritual knowledge, it is more or less dependent exclusively on the mercy of the spiritual master. If the spiritual master is pleased, then automatically, these are the words of the purport, then automatically all knowledge is revealed to the disciple. But then Srila Prabhupada says, but you should not, however, think that spiritual knowledge is like some kind of a magic, right? The spiritual master is a magician, and immediately he will, touch you or something. He will look at you, and then all of a sudden, now you are surcharged with spiritual knowledge, like getting an electric shock or something. It's not like that. The spiritual master will explain the subject to the disciple from various angles, and if the disciple is sincere, now again, what do you mean by sincere? So the disciple has to be a devotee. So the bottom line is the spiritual master and the disciple both have to be bona fide. Only then there is this birth of transcendental knowledge in the disciple. When does it happen? When the spiritual master is bona fide and the disciple is bona fide. What do you mean by a bona fide spiritual master? Spiritual master will give whatever he has received from his spiritual master, he will hand it down as it is. He will not add his own mental concoctions. He will just give as it is. And that is very, very important. That is very important. As soon as one adds his own concoctions, then everything is spoiled. The parampara gets broken. So, bona fide spiritual master, Sukadev Goswami is a bona fide spiritual master. And Parikshit Maharaj is receiving that knowledge. And what is the qualification of Parikshit Maharaj? He's called Maha Paurushika. Maha Paurushika means Mahapurusha is who? Mahapurusha is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Krishna. He is Mahapurusha. An ardent devotee of Lord Krishna is Mahapaurushika. That means he has this firm faith that simply by surrendering to Krishna, I will achieve everything, all types of spiritual knowledge I will receive. If I simply render devotional service to Krishna, he has full faith simply by devotional service to Krishna. I don't need to do anything else. And Krishna is all in all. There is nothing outside of him, nothing beyond him. So if I satisfy Krishna, if I render devotional service to Krishna, then all my business is done. This is called the faith, firm faith of the devotee. So this is the qualification of the disciple. Such a disciple, when he hears from a bona fide spiritual master like Sukadev Goswami or his representative, certainly all knowledge will be revealed to that disciple by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So here we are reading about Vasudev Datta. By Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, he knew everything. Vasudev Datta knew everything by the Lord's mercy. And he was very dear to the Lord. So, what pleases the Lord? What pleases the Lord? Devotional service, right? Vasudev Datta wanted to do good to the entire world. He was merciful to every living being. He was wild with love for Lord Chaitanya. Another important point. When does one get mercy for every living being? When his love of Godhead becomes mature, when there is intense love of Godhead, because of that love, that transforms into compassion for all the suffering souls. When he sees the suffering and what is the suffering of the conditioned souls? Not that somebody is poor, he has no food, or, that's not the suffering. The real suffering is his forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord. So, anywhere this devotee sees, he will see people, everyone is forgetful of, so he feels equally compassionate to the wealthy people to the well-to-do, people, and also the wretched people, poverty stricken. He will feel sorry equally for everyone because they don't have this, they have forgotten, Krishna. So he feels compassion. When does one feel this compassion? When one is filled, right? When his heart is filled with love of Godhead, then it starts overflowing in the form of compassion. When he sees the suffering of the living entities, then his heart, that love of Godhead, starts flowing, overflowing in the form of compassion towards all these suffering souls. And he cannot stay peaceful even for a moment. He has to do something for them. It pushes him to any extent, to take any types of risks, to awaken these people to Krishna consciousness. So we see that in the personality of Srila Prabhupada, and also in great acharyas, Vaishnava acharyas in our line in Srimad Bhagavatam. Here we are seeing in Vasudev Datta. He wanted to do good to the entire world. He was merciful to every living being. He was wild with love for Lord Chaitanya. He only saw good in others. This is another quality of a Vaishnava, right? Vaishnava is a Saragrahi. Saragrahi means he only takes the essence, like a swan. Mm. So a swan will not, when there is water and milk, he won't pay any attention to the water. He simply takes the milk portion of it. This is called Saragrahi, one who takes only the essence. So a Vaishnava's quality is, even though there may be so many bad qualities in a person, he will only pay attention to the good. Every person has a good. What is that? They're all connected to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, isn't it? Everyone is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Is that one point for a Vaishnava, for a true Vaishnava, that one point is enough to love that person? This is, just like you have a very dear friend, you love your friend, and then someone is like his child, your friend's son. Because your friend is very dear to you, your friend's son also becomes dear to you, naturally. So somebody who loves Krishna, a Vaishnava, then he cannot not love anyone. He will love everyone because of everyone's connection with Krishna. So I lost my page. I'm trying to go back. So we are reading about Vasudev Datta, right? So he wouldn't see any faults in others. Yeah, he only saw good in others. He never saw their faults. His heart was appropriately filled with love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and for the Vaishnavas. Seeing Vasudev Datta, now this Vasudev Datta, this type of person who has so much love for the Lord, so much compassion for all living entities, he has come to see Mahaprabhu. So, seeing Vasudev Datta, Lord Chaitanya embraced him and wept again and again. Grasping the Lord's feet, Vasudev Datta also loudly wept. When he wept, Vasudev Datta made even stones and dry sticks, what to speak of human beings, weep. My dear devotees, this is no exaggeration. You will see examples like proofs of this even to this day. As we discussed earlier, in Jagannath Mandir, you will see in the wall, in the back, Mahaprabhu would take darshan of Jagannath and he would be weeping and weeping that there's a ditch under the Garuda Stamba, that whole ditch would be, and he would be holding on to the wall, you know, imprints, because the wall, right, Vishwakarma has constructed that. So it's a stone. The stone has melted by the love of Mahaprabhu, and you can see it today. But stone is very hard, right? When you want to call someone very hard hearted, you compare them to a stone hearted. That means no emotions, really hard. You cannot move it, you cannot. But even a stone starts melting. That means how much love there is that even a stone or a dry stick starts melting and flowing. Vasudev Datta had that type of love. When he wept, that crying made even stones and dry sticks weep. Then, if stones are weeping, what to speak of human beings? Vasudev Datta had the most exalted virtues. No one was like Vasudev Datta. Lord Chaitanya dearly loved Vasudev Datta. The Lord said, I am the property of Vasudev Datta. Of this, there is no doubt. This is another thing. You know why Krishna does not give love of Godhead so easily? Because when Krishna gives prema, love of Godhead, he actually gives himself, puts himself in the hand of that devotee. Now that devotee can do whatever he likes with the Lord. He can give it to whoever, he can give the Lord to whoever he likes. So that is why, it's like putting yourself in somebody's hand, you can do whatever, right? So you have to be very careful in whose hand you're putting yourself. So Mahaprabhu is saying, Vasudev Datta is so dear to me that I am his property. He can do with me whatever he likes. He can send me, he can give me to anyone he likes. I am his property. He has purchased me with his love. Of this, there is no doubt. Again and again, Lord Chaitanya said, my body is Vasudev Datta's property. If Vasudev Datta sells me, I am sold. That is the truth. It is the truth. It is not otherwise. Lord Krishna will deliver anyone who even touches the breeze that blows by Vasudev Datta. How much Krishna values Vasudev Datta? Not that somebody has come and taken, uh, prostrated himself in front of Vasudev Datta and begged him, please have mercy on me, give me mercy. And then if Vasudev Datta says, all right, I bless you, then this person receives mercy. No need. The breeze that has passed by Vasudev Datta, if that breeze touches someone, that person may not even know who Vasudev Datta is. But somehow or other, he happened to be in the place where that breeze which has touched Vasudev Datta, is present. And that breeze has touched him, he's delivered by Krishna. This just shows us, what a great achievement it is to become dear to Krishna. In other places also we see to become a pet devotee, right? Pet devotee means, like about the Pandavas it is said, they are the pet devotees of Krishna. Also about Garudji it is said. So when someone becomes a pet devotee of Krishna, then what is not possible for him? He has everything in his hand, because Krishna has become, practically like a puppet in that devotee's hand. So ordinarily, that which is impossible can be very easily performed by a pet devotee of the Lord. If somebody becomes dear to Krishna, so we should figure out ways how we can get Krishna's attention towards us, how Krishna will begin to love us. We are concerned about how I will love Krishna. We are thinking about that all the time. But in one purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, we should always be thinking about how Krishna will love me. What should I do so that Krishna will love me? So that can be a nice meditation. So here, Vasudeva Datta was such a devotee. He was very dear to Krishna. Krishna was seeking the association of Vasudeva Datta. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Lord Krishna will deliver anyone who even touches the breeze that blows by Vasudeva Datta. I speak the truth. Please listen, O circle of Vaishnavas. My body belongs to Vasudeva Datta alone. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. Hearing of the Lord's mercy to Vasudeva Datta, the Vaishnavas joyfully called out Hari. So another symptom of Vaishnavas. There's never any envy or jealousy. Why he's getting all the mercy? Why I'm not getting? Never, never. When another Vaishnava gets mercy, it's a great celebration for all Vaishnavas. They feel so happy for that Vaishnava. You have received so much mercy of Mahaprabhu. Wow. You're so great. You're so fortunate. Like that. They celebrate it. So Mahaprabhu said this about Vasudev Datta. All Vaishnavas said, Hari, Hari, celebrating. Lord Chaitanya knew how to glorify his devotees. In this way, Lord Chaitanya happily stayed for some days at Srivasa's home also. Okay? So first Mahaprabhu stayed in Advaita Acharya's home. So he's on his way from Ramkeli to Jagannath Puri. He stopped at Advaita Acharya's home. Many pastimes happened there. Then Mahaprabhu went to Kumarhata, Srivas Thakur's home, and there we see how Mahaprabhu met with the devotees of Kumarhata. Specifically, we saw about Vasudev Datta. And like this, Mahaprabhu stayed for some days at Srivasa's home. As two brothers, Srivas and Ramai, sang the Lord's glories. As the two brothers, Srivas and Ramai, sang the Lord's glories, Lord Chaitanya, who was in truth the king of Vaikuntha himself, danced in ecstasy. So Srivas Thakur, there are four brothers. Srivas, Shripati, Srinidhi and Ramai. Four brothers. Sri Ram. Sri Ram, in short, they call Ramai. So Srivas, Shripati, Srinidhi and Sri Ram. Four. So Srivas Thakur and his brother Ramai, they were singing like in Kirtan. They were singing the glories of the Supreme Lord. And Mahaprabhu started dancing in ecstasy. Srivas and Ramai were very dear to Lord Chaitanya. The two of them were Lord Chaitanya's own body. They never quarreled. Never quarreled. This is another thing, right? Like Lord Ramchandra and his brothers. There's never any, instance where they would quarrel with each other. So Srivas and Ramai, they never quarreled. They were always engaged in Sankirtan and in reading and lecturing from Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the key. When will the brothers not quarrel? When will there not be quarrels in the family? When everyone is engaged in Sankirtan, in reading and lecturing from Srimad Bhagavatam. So the brothers were always engaged, so they were on the transcendental platform. So Kali cannot touch, right? Kali means the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. So if you want to be untouched by this, by the influence of Kali, you have to always be engaged in Sankirtan, either singing or reading or lecturing or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So they were always playful and witty, Srivas and Sri Ram or Ramai. Srivas, in whose home the Lord manifested the best of his pastimes, greatly pleased Lord Chaitanya. One day in private, Lord Chaitanya asked Srivas about his livelihood, right? How are you maintaining your family? It was a big family. Even Srila Prabhupada says this was at least 500 years ago. But Srila Prabhupada, in his youth, Srila Prabhupada said he was maintaining at least, I think, 10 or 20 people, 20 people. Like he had, yeah, 20 people. He had his immediate family, right? He had 5 children, his wife, he had his sister, I think, who became a widow, and her son. And then he had so many servants. His father was there, and Srila Prabhupada was maintaining, right? He was maintaining the whole family. So generally, a household would have so many members. The servants have to be maintained by the master, like that. So Srivas Thakur also had, and there were 4 brothers staying. And then, but all day long, Srivas Thakur was simply doing Sankirtan. Where do you get your food and maintenance? So in private, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Srivas about his livelihood. Lord Chaitanya said, I see that you never go anywhere. How do you maintain your family? How will you maintain them in the future? First of all, how are you managing now? And if you go on like this, what are your plans? How are you going to manage in the future? Right? Children will get older, they have to get married. For that, you need money, right? So many things. What are your plans? How are you going to maintain such a big family in future? Srivas replied, Lord, in my heart there is no desire to go anywhere. This I tell you. Why I don't go anywhere? I don't have any desire to go outside and earn a livelihood, and I don't have any such desire. I'm telling you the truth. The Lord said, you have a big family. If you don't do anything, what will happen to them? Right? Who will feed them? Shiva said, whatever is destined will happen, that will come. This is exactly what I was telling you a few minutes earlier about a disciple's qualification. He has such firm faith He just simply depends on Krishna. All I have to do is I have to serve Krishna. Serve Krishna in what way? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. And his mission, push his mission. Serve Krishna, whatever Krishna is asking us to do, just do that. If I simply do that, I don't have to worry. Things will come. And if things didn't come, that's my destiny. He accepts it. It's not that he is like, oh, I did all this devotional service, then why you're not maintaining? No, if nothing comes, then this is called Sharanagati. This is called complete surrender. Avashya rakhibe Krishna, rakshishyati iti vishvasaha. He has full faith that Krishna will protect him. Hmm? And also at the same time, he's like, Mare Krishna rakhe Krishna mare ke, right? If Krishna wants to kill me, then who can save me, right? I can have a bank balance, I can have, so much security and everything, but if I'm meant to die, I'll have to die of starvation. Maybe I'll die of starvation. But if Krishna is going to protect me, he is my master, then no matter what the material conditions, still I will be saved because Krishna is protecting me. My only master is Krishna. My only duty is to serve Krishna. I don't have to do anything else. This is the conviction of a surrendered devotee, which we see in Srivas Thakur's case here. Srivas said, so Mahaprabhu said, what will happen to your big family? How will you maintain? What will happen to them? Shiva said, whatever is destined will happen, that will come. The Lord said, you should accept sannyas. If this is your mood, you don't depend on anything, then why you're in grihastha? You should just take sannyas. Right? And Shiva said, I have no power to do that. I don't have the power to become a sannyasi. The Lord said, if you will not accept sannyas, why do you not go out to beg alms? You're a Brahmana. Brahmana is allowed to go and beg alms. Go door to door, beg for some alms, and then with that you can maintain your family. Right? You don't want to accept sannyas, then just go and beg alms. How will you feed your family? I do not at all understand your words. If you never go anywhere, you will not get anything. If nothing comes to your door, what will you do then? Please tell me. Right? So if somebody on their own accord, without asking, if somebody brought something, then okay. But not that I will go begging from door to door. This is Srivas Thakur's policy. So Mahaprabhu is saying it's not, there's no guarantee, right? Sometimes nobody may come to give you. What will you do then? If you don't get anything, what will you do? If nothing comes to your door, what will you do then? Please tell me that. Then Srivas clapped his hands 3 times. In answer to Mahaprabhu, if nothing comes to your door, right? What will you do, Srivas? And Srivas says, and then he says, that is my explanation. The Lord said, what does 1, 2, 3 mean? Why did you clap your hands? Please explain. Srivas said, this is my solemn vow. If 3 times food does not come to me, okay, I'll starve, right? One day, no food has come, I will starve. Second day also, no food has come, so we will all starve. Third day also, there's no food, let's say, right? I have to fast. If 3 times food does not come to me and I must fast, then I will tie a water pot around my neck and drown myself in the Ganga. What do you understand by this? Srivas Thakur has full faith. It is not possible that the Lord does not maintain his devotees. It never happens that the Lord doesn't maintain his devotees. Unless the Lord is performing some pastime with the devotee and he wants to teach a lesson to the world, that's a different situation. But how many times where do you see the devotees of Krishna who have surrendered their lives to Krishna, they're starving and they're dying out of starvation? Where do you see that? Krishna says, Ananyas chintayanto mam, ye jana paripasate, tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyaham. When anyone is engaged in devotional service, pure devotional service, Ananyas chintayanto mam, who's always thinking about him and worshipping him, to such a person, I carry what he lacks. I personally carry on my back. If there is no groceries in his house, I will carry to his house. I will personally carry on my back. And whatever is already there, I will protect it from being robbed by thieves or something. I will personally protect. I'll guard his property. This is Krishna's assurance. Krishna is the absolute truth, right? Nobody can, it can never be a lie. So a devotee has full conviction in this. So Srivas Thakur says, if 3 times I have to starve, if no food comes to my door, then I will just tie a water pot around my neck so that I cannot float up, right? And then I will drown myself in the Ganga. I'll end my life. Hearing Srivas's words, Lord Chaitanya at once stood up and roared, "This is my devotee. How much faith he has in me, isn't it? Can you imagine how much the Lord feels? What type of love my devotee has for me? How much faith he has." So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately, when he heard that, right? You can just picture like his hair standing on end in ecstasy. He just stood up and he roared. He said, "Srivas Pandit, what are you saying? Why should you fast 3 times? You, my devotee, you will fast 3 times, 3 days, there won't be food in your house." He couldn't tolerate that. He said, even if someday Lakshmi Devi herself becomes poverty stricken, is it ever possible that Lakshmi Devi will be poverty stricken? She's the one who's giving all, she's the source of all opulences in this world. Whatever opulence, any food anyone has in this world, it's all coming from her. But let's say a day may come when Lakshmi Devi becomes very poor. Her treasury is empty. Her granary is empty. There's no food, no money, nothing, no wealth. And then she personally, being hungry, has to go door to door begging for alms. Let's say, even if that day came, still, if Lakshmi Devi herself became poor, poverty still will not enter your house. You will never be poor. You will never have to starve. Srivas, have you forgotten what I said in Bhagavad Gita 9:22? See? Ananyaschintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. But to those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form. So, then why there is problem in the world, you may say? Are we doing this? Are we doing this? Always meditating on the transcendental form of the Lord, always worshipping Him. To do this with this complete faith and conviction, like a baby who puts itself in the mother's arms, right? Mother, if she wants, she can just strangle the neck of the baby and the baby won't be able to do anything, she'll be dead. But the baby is completely helpless and completely dependent on the mercy of the mother. If a devotee can become like this in front of Krishna, Krishna, he will take care of that devotee like anything, right? He says, but to those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I personally carry Vahami, Yogakshemam Vahami Aham. Vahami means in Hindi, dhona, right? Like like the laborers, they carry weight, coolies, they carry weight on their back, like that. Vahami means to carry on the back. Krishna saying, I will personally carry whatever they need on my back. All we have to do is follow the first half, right? Always worship Krishna with exclusive devotion, meditating on his transcendental form. And Krishna's assurance, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. To anyone who always meditates on me with exclusive devotion, I give alms. I carry the alms on my head. I carry them on my head and I give it to them. So we don't have time now, but you all must know the story of Arjunacharya, where Krishna and Balaram personally carried groceries on their backs as small boys. So Krishna is saying, I carry on my head and I give it to them. Anyone who meditates on me need not leave his door. You stay at home all day, just chant Hare Krishna, food will come to you. You don't even have to leave the door. How much more assurance do you want? But we like to talk and argue, but not actually do it. You do it and see. You do it. With that type of faith in Krishna, you do it and see. Anyone who meditates on me need never leave his door. Of their own accord, all perfections will come to him. That is why pure devotional service is not so easy. Where only when one has this type of faith in Krishna is he eligible to enter into Ananya Bhakti. Until then, we are all aspiring for Ananya Bhakti. We would like to come to that point of Ananya Bhakti. That means when we have this type of faith, all I have to do is just I have to do bhakti. Bhakti means what? Carry out whatever the orders Krishna's devotee is telling us to do. That is bhakti for us. If he says go out and distribute books, surrender to that. Right? If whatever he says, just do that. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself said, chant. Again and again, Srimad Bhagavatam also says, right? Anyone, whether you have material desires, you're free from material desires, or you're a devotee, right? It does not matter. All success will come by chanting the holy names of the Lord continuously. This is meditation. Anyone who meditates on me need never leave his door. Of their own accord, all perfections will come to him. Piety, wealth, happiness, and liberation will come to him. This is what people aspire for in this world, isn't it? You want to be pious, you want to be known as a good person, and you want to be wealthy, you want to be happy, healthy, and at the end of this life, you want liberation. Everything will come if you are always following this principle of always meditating on the Lord. My servant need not ask for them, right? They don't even ask, I want money, I want health, I want liberation, I don't want to suffer in this world. My servant need not even ask for them. They will never leave my servant. These things, like maid servants, they will be following a devotee of Krishna. They don't want liberation, but liberation will be knocking on their door all the time, right? Like a maid servant. Please take me, like that. So we can stop here today. We will continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Chaitanya Bhagavat will continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna.